It is that time. And so, everyone, I have the honor and privilege of introducing our president, Mr. Raymond. And he is the one who has currently built the entire Hundo Club from the ground up. He's very good with art, as any of you who have actually seen the website or any of the things that he's put out, he's literally the one who's designed and done all of it. I have watched him drop everything at the drop of a dime to help other veterans in need. And in 4 years of his enlisted service, he was more decorated than most officers are in 10. So without further ado, here is our president, Mr. Raymond.
Hey, good afternoon, veterans. So I want to thank you for coming to this afternoon meeting. So what I usually do is just say where we're at and where our vision is and where we're going. Our current aspect is that we have developed and worked on our rank structure very, very intently, as well as onboarding leaders such as Coach Trout, Ms. Chambers. I believe you two wanted to come on board, as well as our future leader, looking like we vote on everything. So I believe Troy Dotson is going to be actually voted in. We're going to see on Monday, he's going to produce a presentation to us on how he's going to teach and coach and give a financial class and things like that. So we've been revamping that whole system, ensuring that we can anybody who's onboarding who wants to take care of the veteran community, such as myself. I do VA claims coaching, and I do business coaching, and I do WordPress development coaching. So where we're projected to right now is that we're looking to launch our social networking app on July 4th. That is our projection. We're hoping so. Right now, the beta is really smooth. We're ironing out a few extra issues with the tech department, such as cross-contamination and making sure profiles stay locked in and the security aspects are completely up to par. So there's a lot of moving parts in the back scene, and Captain Joe and the other aspects of our members, the Vice President, Mr. Finch, isn't currently here. He'll be back next week. He's on vacation. So there is a tremendous movement we have going, and it's just we're starting to really gain traction because people realize, wait a minute, this is a problem that a lot of veterans have coming out of military service, and while they're out of service, they're just not getting the resources that we need. Right now, we have Ryan Hammer. I believe he's here with us. He's going to have a little spiel today, but he's at a volleyball game with his daughter, so he's just tuning in about how can we work together, and he does mortgaging and things like that and hires only veteran individuals. So we try to onboard as many people as we can and make sure that their professionalism is also beneficial. So we've ironed out on 3 aspects. I'm going to share real quick a screen share on showing exactly the aspects that we've developed thus far. So this would be the leaders aspect. So if you're looking to apply as a leader, it's pretty straightforward. You literally go to leaders roles on our community website, right? You just go onto there and you click on that partners aspect, right? Because you're a partner. So all these kind of things, we want to make sure you have those tools ready for you. So we're mimicking the military, but in a veteran structure. We're not using, we're not building a militia or anything, but we're building a group of individuals to help and assist future veterans, right? So you could download the introduction to the veteran leadership models, and it's paramilitary in a way. We kind of make sure it's funneled and trying to transform the military training that you received and apply it to actually your entrepreneurial life, or you wanting to work in employment, and just bettering you in life coaching, business coaching, and so many other ways. So if you were just say, for example, Ms. Chambers, you want to apply, you just come to the application page and scroll all the way down and hit apply now. Yeah, it's that simple. And then you can get your aspect in there, and you can forward your resume, and all the leaders will review you and say, okay, we think you're fantastic. Would you mind doing H&R for us? Because everything that we're going to onboard every trade op command. We're going to, which Troy, I believe, is volunteered to house that aspect. He's going to make sure whether it's material command, if it's actual physical products or anything like that. So there's unlimited amount of commands we're going to have within the United States Veteran Command. As we create the active duty version and we create the family support version, such as a spouse or a family member, those are going to be separate from the Veteran Command. First, we want to make sure this process is 100%, so you get every single tool available to you, and we do it together. We literally have to solve this problem together. Whether it's homelessness or anything else in the nature, we can't do it by ourselves. So that's why we're relying on those veteran aspects. So you say, okay, what's a benefit of me actually just doing this volunteer? First, you're giving to helping a veteran. That's first. Second, you're part of an organization, so that way we can all do it together. And on third of that, we can help yourself, because as you get through the NCO Corps, right, and you go through the different levels that we have of rank structures, okay, or you go through the officers corps, right, we have literally thousands and thousands and thousands of positions to fill. There's 18.5 million veterans, so we're prepared for that scaling. Okay, we have where, you know, you can be, if there's an act of war and the United States is act of war, we'll authorize the 1 5-star general to represent the veteran Hundo Club, you know, and that's voted upon. Everybody can be voted upon in that position, and you know, and so forth. So it's completely democratic system. It's not run authoritarian. Everything is voted upon. Joe, I think you have some wonderful updates and some awesome aspects that you want to bring up. You have it. Pass it on to Captain Joe. He's in charge of our public relations command.
Thank you, Commander. Appreciate that. Yeah, my name's Captain Joe Arnold, public relations, reaching out to our larger organizations such as VFW, American Legion, AMVETS, Operation Homefront, stuff like that. Once we get our 501c, which will be next month, I will be going full board on these. But in the meantime, I went to a VFW Post 846 breakfast yesterday morning down here in Overland Park, Kansas, which I'm a member of. Talking to the VFW commander and quartermaster about Hundo and what we're doing in the organization. They were thoroughly impressed with our mission about veterans helping veterans. They thought that was a great mission to do something like that because it's kind of unheard of. They were fully on board with it and gave me some guidance on thinking, well, how do you want to approach the VFW? And I told them, basically what we're going to do is we're using those organizations. So let's say we have a veteran that reaches out to us online and it's like, look, I need help right away. So we'll have in place where somebody will be notified here and they'll be like, look, we have a veteran in, let's say, Kentucky that is he's homeless, or he's now homeless all of a sudden, and he has nowhere to go, he has no resources whatsoever. I will be notified, or one of our command structure will be notified, and we will be able to have, with those organizations that I reach out to and we become associates with, we'll be able to contact someone locally, such as a VFW, American Legion, whatever, that can, they're on the ground, can go out and help that veteran right away. So they can reach out for us and then take care of that veteran and get them into, where he's secured, he's safe, and he's taken care of. And then from there, then we can, continue from here, go ahead and assist them and getting them stabilized and get them through our system to where we can move them forward and get them sustainable once again. But but I'm going to be going to state level. I'm going to be going national level. I've got to go through with the VFW. We have districts, and then we got national. So there's procedures and stuff like that I'm going to have to go through, especially with American Legion as well and these other organizations. I mean, Wounded Warriors, they're out there. Everybody knows about them. The Gary Sinise, which I look up to a lot. I mean, Gary Sinise was in Forrest Gump. You know, he was Lieutenant Dan. He's done a lot for veterans and their spouses and stuff like that. Um, we're gonna do stuff like that as well, but we're more of using those, as I said, uh, those organizations to be able to reach out and take care of the veterans' needs right away. And then that way we can do what we do. But that's what I'm working on right now. It's gonna be a great thing, and I'm happy to see all these faces, and can't wait to work with you all. Thanks, President. Appreciate it.
Roger. So one other aspect I wanted to tally on is that we have officially been associated with Legal Shield. So we have a three-prong approach, right? We want to make sure every person that first comes into Hundo, how can we solve your problem, right? That's the first thing. What is your problem that you're seeking, or kind of advice or coaching or something like that before you can ever give back? And then that's kind of like the E1 to E4 structure, the VE1 to VE4, before you become like the NCO. We want to make sure you're taken care of, you got the education, you got the training you wanted. So financial fitness is one of the main aspects that we have. So I do the VA claims coaching. He's Captain Joe is working on the VSO partnership with the other organizations, the other brother and sister organizations. And then on top of that, we're working with Legal Shield, which is a very cost-effective but highly plausible solution to the three-prong approach of increasing your disability rating, which gives you that foundation of economic stability, right? So we all went through military service. We all have some kind of disability, whether it's back, lumbar, hips, mental health, or physical or mental. So we want to make sure we cover that base ground. Okay, you have that financial stability. How can we cultivate that next aspect? And then the social aspect. So this is building up a whole holistic point of view. And that's all I got for now. Captain McDonald, you got anything for me?
Yeah, so what I'll go on is I'll move us on to the next spot so this last week, we had every week we have a leadership meeting, and the leaders get together and we make votes on different things, move on proposals. So this last week, most of our meeting was actually we were voting on the method and the how to generate our top 10 priority list for every week. So part of what we're going to be implementing is a priority list on what we need to do within Hundo to address either something that's not functioning the way it's supposed to, or get something that isn't there yet. So a lot of these services, for example, we're going to the other groups such as the VFW because they have something that they specialize in. So it would kind of be counterproductive for us to try and get something that they're already highly effective in and try and rebuild it here. Instead, we'd rather ally with them. But we are coming in and looking at this from the ground zero of there's a whole bunch of veteran groups out there, but there's a lot of aspects of every veteran's life that have never been addressed by any of these groups. So we're kind of trying to build those missing gaps so that we can uplift veterans as a whole. And so this last week, we voted on whether Legal Shield was the best solution for getting an attorney to represent the veteran claims process. And in terms of both cost effectiveness and the fact that the kind of attorneys that they work with countrywide, it was pretty much a unanimous agreement that it is the best solution. And as a side effect, it also gives attorney coverage for anything legal that would happen in the veteran's life. And so this will help them out a lot. For example, it could be as simple as challenging a cell phone company that's changing the program with the veteran without telling them. So for example, this year, my cell phone company dropped me from an unlimited plan to a limited data plan without telling me, without signing any contracts or anything. I just started getting texts saying, hey, you're getting close to your data plan. I went through Legal Shield for free and had an attorney send a letter to my cell phone company saying, this is crooked, you need to fix it. And I got a letter back from my cell phone company saying, oh, we're so sorry that this happened. And then they fixed it. They put me back on the unlimited plan. They took care of everything. It didn't cost me a dime. So Legal Shield's able to help out in that regard. And that goes for everything across a veteran's life. And it's just something that is a resource that was never there for veterans in the first place. The other thing is we voted on Troy Dotson coming into the leadership. And so this week, most of what we're doing this week in terms of that is we're trying to assess exactly where he fits in with our team and what kind of a leadership position he will be taking. And from there, I'm going to pass it back to President Raymond for some news and updates on anything that we have going on in the Hundo Club.
So thank you, Captain Ian. So Captain Ian is in charge of management commands as of right now. So he handles most of the scribe work and a lot of things. We'll get to each and every one of you. Is going to be open Q&A. Of course, we're just giving you a sit rep on our status of what's going on, what are we working on, and things like that. So one of the major aspects that we are exceptionally happy with is that our new server is phenomenally fast, is extremely fast. It's the level of Facebook, and that's going to empower veterans on a holistic scale. So we're worked on those backends, and we're honing in on all these other organizations. And we've identified top aspects such as financial coaching as being a priority within the transitioning units, as well as the veterans currently housing. So we're trying to find the perfect fit and match for an organization to give out free coaching and classes, and hopefully they can educate veterans on VA claims, VA house aspects and stuff like that. So right now we're really developing and opening our doors, prepping for the next stage, which is our launch stage. And everyone's doing a phenomenal job. Every single person here is literally picking up a tremendous aspect. And I can't be more thankful across the board. And there's individuals on the backdrop working with other organizations such as First Command and financial institutions that have history, and some really powerful organizations are trying to work with us. What else we got for news? We got tons of news coming in. We got tons of things, but all right. So let's jump into saying hello to everybody. Jennifer, I want you to introduce yourself and tell you what would you like from Hundo and what we can do for you, and what would you like to give back if that's what it aligns with your values. That's why this meeting is here too, so you can identify that.
Yeah, this kind of fell in my lap, honestly. I've kind of been searching where I could fit in the world, if that makes sense. I know you'll probably all understand that. My last child, my daughter, we have 4 kids. She's in school now this year. So I'm kind of like just sitting at home, like, what can I do? What can I do? I've searched for a job for so many months, you guys. It's like ridiculous. Hundreds. And the unprofessionalism from employers is nuts that I'm getting back. Also, like, not knowing how to translate military things into civilian world is where I'm finding it hard. Everybody keeps asking me, what are you good at? What is your daily thing that like brings you joy? And I'm always like, veterans, right? I just want I want to do something somewhere with fellow veterans. I just don't know how to get there. So honestly, I'm going to apply to you guys. Y'all can look at my stuff, but at the end of the day, how do you put who you are as a type of person on a resume too? Like, you're going to see my degrees, you're going to see my military background, but me as a person, I bring a whole lot more to the table, but you can't put that on a resume, right? I'm always telling these jobs, like, just give me a chance, chat with me for like 30 minutes and see my personality, my work ethic, and I don't ever get that chance. So I was kind of really excited I don't even know how, I think I saw it on a veteran page that you guys posted on, and I just randomly clicked on it, and I was just like, you know what? Maybe this is it. I don't know. So I'm curious to see more about you guys for sure and how this all fits into play. But again, I'm an Air Force vet. I did 4 years active, 1 year reserves. Reserves was not for me. I got out. I have 4 children, and my husband works offshore for 5 weeks at a time, so it's kind of just me. And
All right, so
I'm right outside of Houston.
okay, so we're gonna give you a new mission. Whatever you want in your life, we're gonna give you that. We're gonna give you the tools to say, take charge of your life. Whatever you want, it's literally my mission to do that for each and every single veteran that comes through the door and say, how we got to remold that aspect and take charge, and we're gonna give you all the tools we possibly can. For example, the vice president right now is working on that each and every veteran gets their own server website with their own pay funnel. For example, if you do arts and crafts, you're good with clothing, whatever situation you want, we're going to try
Right.
to empower you as much as humanly possible, and then you'll get experts upon experts. Joe has degrees in business. Troy has degrees in, I think he has like 3 degrees. I lost count. Am I right? It's something like that. So, like, you know what I mean? So, as we do this together, it's going to be a big family. It's just going to be one giant family, and it's helping each other succeed, and we deserve that. We deserve that. We're the 100% club. We're the people that actually volunteered for the call of our country to say, "Hey, we're willing to sacrifice our lives. Why are we getting airdropped into society? Why is it that we have to swim our way back into civilization?" Or anything like that. You got anything else before we pass it on to Robert?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
All right, Robert, what do you got?
So I did 21 years, retired Army in 2022. Basically worked in the bank for a year, and then I'm doing financial consultation now. So I can help in that area. All I'm looking for is just networking, veteran networking, and just helping where I can. I just miss that, helping people. So that's all about me.
Well, to piggyback off of that real quick, Robert, one thing that I'm going to be working on is we're not there yet because we're working on more mission critical elements at the moment. But I've been in a lot of different business networking groups, and I've got different levels of networking. So as Hundo begins to develop more, I'm actually going to get and create these little Hundo exclusive business networking groups. And obviously at the different levels of membership, that's going to be one of the membership perks. We have our free membership for most everybody that everybody will fit into, but there will be paid membership perks for specific businesses looking for specific types. Or for example, one of the network groups will be more for like, say, insurance agents, and it'll have like lead generation within it and so on and so forth. But I will be working on that. So that is something that we will be offering in the future. Like I said, we're working on significantly more mission critical, which is, making sure people have housing, transportation, income. Those are the most mission critical elements, because without those, it's hard to even get a VA claim in because you're worried about where are you eating next. So that's where our focus is at the moment. But as we grow and as that gets taken care of, that's one of the things that I personally will be building.
Sounds great. Thanks.
Right, Troy, you want to talk about a little bit about yourself, since you're going to be a leader pretty soon, and
Yeah, I was waiting patiently. Jennifer, I noticed you're in Texas. I have quite a few contacts in the Houston area. I sent you a friend request on Facebook. I am also working. Last night, I think I did 3 hours building different federal resumes for usajobs.gov website, to submit those. I'm doing a lot of different things, trying to get a salary job for other reasons, but we can obviously, you and I can discuss, and try to help each other with that. Robert, I thought you looked familiar, and I realized we are friends on Facebook. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm
we
glad
are.
to see glad to see somebody else in the insurance industry. I started back in 2021. I have my own business. But of course, I'm been in the Army active, for a little bit, 20 years, 7 months is what I thought I said. But I'm working on retiring right now, so I'm in that transition phase myself. I do like your pin post about VGLI, by the way. It's very, very good information. But yeah, so I'm currently in Kansas for now, because the Army forced me to come here. My wife and I don't plan on staying here. Sorry, Joe. It's not for me. But we're going to go to New Mexico because that's where originally we were going to retire to anyway. So kids love it there. It's a great place to be. Great wine, great food, great landscape. But so I started back in 2021 in the insurance industry because I knew I didn't want to stay in the Army past 20 years. I only got forced to stay in an extra 7 months because I got forced to go to Poland. Um, last year, I got back last year, August, September. And I've been doing, like I said, part-time doing insurance, doing different things, venturing more into the financial sector now as I'm getting out, while trying to, do other things. I was kind of like what Jennifer was saying. A part of me, I'm a very honest individual. Part of me was like, screw all this military shit. You know what I mean? Like this, like I was done with it. But then as I kind of started spending more time, because I haven't had a job in like 2 months, been at home pretty much, and being a good housewife. But a part of me was like, man, like I miss a little bit of this, like something, I like doing PT on my own. I don't miss that at all. But I was like, I miss something here. So I think, I mean, I don't know how we got in touch, Christopher, to be honest with you, or maybe it was Joe, but I'm glad I found this group for sure. And then, when we had our first call last week, I was like, man, this is it. This is it for me right here. Um, so right now I'm kind of just working on balancing and trying to see whatever I can do for the group at the same time, trying to obviously handle things in my own life, advance forward in the insurance industry and my own business. So this is a group definitely worth it. We are not trying to promote a bunch of BS like a lot of people on Facebook. Nobody's asking you to pay anything for anything. You know what I mean? Like it's all about helping each other out. Um, but yeah, I like it here. Welcome. I hope you stay. And we can always find ways to help each other. So
Thank you, Troy. Appreciate that.
I like to talk, but I'll stop.
You're great. You're great. Ryan, you want to pick up a little bit?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Outstanding. Sorry, just got back. My daughter had a volleyball tournament all weekend. So started at 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. this morning. Had to be there. And a couple games later, I'm finally back home and able to get back to work. So great to meet you guys. Happy to be here. My name is Ryan Hammer. I was a Air Force SF officer. I retired back in 14. The broken kind of retired, not the 20-year kind of retired. I run the veteran lending team. We are a FDIC insured bank, mortgage lender, commercial business lender, and insurance company, all rolled into one. We are entirely made up of U.S. military veterans. We don't hire anybody who hasn't served. We bring in folks brand new, train them from scratch, put them through all the training they need. Not only the federal licensing requirements, but also actually how to do the job and do it well and be successful. Once they go through the training and they're able to start operating, we empower them by putting them on a fire team with a fire team leader who's their Sherpa, meant to help guide them and mentor them to be successful, and then put them to work generating business, building relationships, and truthfully just helping people. Our vision and our goal is to eventually take over from USAA and be the default bank for the veteran community. Except instead of being a call center full of jackasses who don't know you, don't care about you, and having to dial an 800 number and talk to a random person every single time and hope they call you back if you get disconnected. We are entirely made up of veterans, and we operate on a 1-to-1 ratio basis. We call this approach relationship lending. It's essentially concierge banking. So you will have a dedicated relationship lender. That person handles all of your needs. So whether it's a credit card, an auto loan, a mortgage, you want to start a business and you need startup capital, you need insurance, you call your person, you could text your person, Facebook message your person, email your person, whatever. You have their direct number. They know you. They understand what you're looking for. They understand your goals and your visions. They're there to anticipate what you need next. Like if you got a kid who's turning 17 in a few months and you're going to want to get him a car, They're there to help make sure that you're in the right financial position to get that car loan and get approved for what you want, while also running the insurance quote for you, so you know what you're going to be looking for in the totality of it, and then get you squared away. Same thing goes for mortgages. That's where we started out, in the VA loan space and the mortgage space. But as we kept seeing more and more deltas across the industry, we kept expanding into different sectors and kept growing to keep filling those voids. Because the one thing that none of us enjoy doing is having to call USAA because our debit card is frozen because some jackass tried to use it fraudulently. And then you got to wait 30 minutes to talk to somebody and hope they pick up, and then you got to explain what's going on, and then you got to tell them next that my credit card's also not working, which means they got to transfer you to somebody else across the bank, which takes another 20 minutes to go through the whole process. And before you know it, an hour and a half has gone by, and you're going to waste your time and your life. So we're changing all that. Like I said, we are in the final stages of acquiring a bank. The bank is based out of West Tennessee. It's called Brighton Bank. You've never heard of it. It's been around for 120 years, but really never did much. It was a small local bank. So we acquired it. We are in the process of finalizing the acquisition. It takes like 2 or 3 years to go through the acquisition phase because the FDIC is as slow as the VA. But we are at the tail end of it. We are still able to fully operate because obviously the bank's been around for 120 years. It's just the ownership aspect is what we're finalizing now. But yeah, so I don't know if you've seen us on Facebook or social media, but we're the veteran lending team, previously the veteran mortgage team. Like I said, we operate in all 50 states. We've got folks from Alaska to Florida, Texas, Tennessee, Kentucky, California. We even got one dude out in Japan, and another guy out in Saudi. They decided to retire, and they're doing some fun stuff overseas while working with us. Like I said, we bring in folks and we train them from scratch and try to give them what you guys are talking about: a meaningful career, a career that helps other people, a career that's focused around helping other veterans. But obviously, since we are all veterans, we brought that military camaraderie, that team mentality, that support system to the finance world. So we have 2 rules on our team. The first rule is no drama. We can't stand it, won't deal with it. We're all veterans. If someone, does something that hurts you in the feels, you have a conversation, you work through it and press on. The second rule is no bullshit. We don't bullshit our clients. If we screw up, and we're probably going to screw up because we're human and humans make mistakes, we own the mistake, figure out how to fix it and make it right for the client, learn from it, obviously, and then press on. And then conversely, we don't bullshit each other internally. If there's a question, there's always an answer. We work on full transparency. It's not the military mindset where, you've got layers of leadership and you don't need to know things that are outside of your purview. We're the exact opposite. We want everyone to understand how we operate so that people can offer, different opinions based off of their experience, their perspective that maybe they wouldn't have, or we wouldn't have thought of, but their perspective offers a different approach that keeps us evolving and moving forward to a better future. So, love what you guys are doing. Love to be a part of it on the finance side, helping educate the community, because that's our approach, is coming at it from education. Our whole thing is, if the veteran community understands the process, understands what the actual rules are, they can make informed decisions. And by doing that, whether they use us or not, at least they have the power to make a smart decision, or an educated decision, I should say. They're not always smart. People, do things that, even with the right, information, aren't always the best decisions. But it is what it is. So you'll see us all over social media putting out education about the VA loan, about insurance, about why people's premiums are skyrocketing, what they can do to help minimize that. Commercial lending, where different pockets of monies are to start a business, to grow your business, so on and so forth. And then we're starting to roll out a credit card specifically for veterans that'll be at half the interest rate of the national average, so that again people can try to start cutting down their debt and getting to a better financial health. We do a lot of education on credit scores and credit repair so that people can turn around past mistakes, whether it's theirs or from an ex-spouse when they were deployed, We obviously see that a lot. So, giving them the power to get their credit squared away, get them to a place where they can afford what they want or purchase or acquire what they want. And ultimately, again, stop making us the community that's looked at as homeless guy on the street, or constantly needing money and needing help because we're broken from war, and turn that mentality around where we're successful, we're industry leaders, we're entrepreneurs. We take what we learned from the military, the mindset, the mentality, the work ethic, and we come to the civilian sector and we add value, and we are successful, and we are homeowners, and we are business owners, and we are successful within the community. And really, turn that mindset around, because it's been too long that we've been looked at in the negative light. So that's us.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hammer. I think
Please, Ryan.
obviously our values. Ryan, you got it.
Thank you.
I just like that last name too much.
You can call me Hammer, just not Mr. Hammer. That sounds way too formal.
All right.
I was gonna say, oh, sorry. I was gonna say, Ryan, can you reach out to me so we can connect after this?
Sure.
I couldn't find you in the group, so otherwise I would have just added you by now.
I don't think I'm in the group. I'm not gonna lie to you. Chris reached out to me last night. I was actually at the Eagles concert when you did.
Sounds good. Sorry to interrupt you there, President Raymond. Go ahead.
You're great. You're great. So I think that's great aspects. Those are it's not run like a corporation, but with the of course you have to have balance of books and that personal aspect. So I think it's a wonderful balanced approach that you've come by, Ryan, and you're taking charge of that. You're taking lead, and you found a problem within society, and you're leading to take care of that. So through the chats, it's obvious everyone's really enjoying what you're saying too. So we're gonna pass it on to Sheldon. Can you hear me? Are you there, Sheldon?
Hey, Daryl.
Daryl, you live?
Yeah,
Sit
just
rep.
muted. I know he was having technical difficulties.
He just muted himself. I saw it
Yeah.
unmute for a minute there.
Yeah. Unmute yourself, Daryl. He's on the phone.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just now trying to figure this thing out. Is my video working? I can't seem to get that either. I didn't want to mess with it because I'll kick myself out. Anyway, I'll figure that out later. Yeah, I used to be in the military in the 70s, so I'm kind of an old timer, getting ready to retire. Joe just got me into the VA health system, and I'm looking forward to trying to get some disability. I was injured when I was in Fort Knox in 77, and I need to connect with somebody on that.
That
But I
would
was
be me. We'll link up. We'll link up for sure.
Yeah, he was having problems. I know he was, and that's why I had to wait off for a minute, so I had to help him, get the link and all that stuff on there. But I've known Daryl for 12, 15 years, and I've helped him a lot lately with his VA claims. Took him and also his daughter's another veteran boyfriend down to the VA clinic down in Kansas City recently to get them into the system because they didn't know how to do it. So, and Daryl's been having some really severe pain issues. My understanding was while he was at Fort Knox, he had a hatch cover from a tank come down on the back of his neck and really messed him up. And he's been self-medicating himself since all that. So, and it's he's now seen VA to go ahead and help him out with pain medication and stuff like that, but he's not able to put a claim in for that for disability. So it's been an uphill struggle for him. So I invited him to our meeting to find out what Veteran Hundo is about, so we can get him through our system to help him and get him his claims filled out, so he can get what he needs and what he deserves to get for his service. There you go.
Yeah, and I really appreciate that. Just want to say it's nice to meet y'all, and I feel like I'm really welcome. And I look forward to working with you guys. I don't know about contributing, um, but I can contribute in any way I can. I'll
Well,
try.
to
Worry
start.
about here's how we do it. Worry about contributing after you've had all your first steps done. So our first step is making sure you have housing, a source of income, and transportation. Second step is making sure that you go through all your VA claims properly. And then our third step is to get your own goals in line. I'm not sure if you need help with that. But after that, then you worry about how you're going to help contribute to the group. So
Right.
Sure.
just putting that out there for you.
Okay, yeah. Well,
Cool.
much appreciated.
No problem. Well, I will definitely be in touch with you, and we'll get the ball rolling there, Daryl, for sure. And welcome again. Thanks to finally getting you into get to one of the meetings and getting you involved, so we can get you taken care of. As you can see, we got a great group of veterans already that came in here today, and everybody's wanting to help each other out. So this is gonna be a great thing.
Okay, really looking forward to working with you guys.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thanks.
I am a mechanic, and I was a diesel mechanic, truck vehicle in the military, and I use that on my civilian life. I was a mechanic for like 12 years, and then I got into welding. So that's where I'm at now, is welding, getting ready to retire. And
Well, those are all aspects that, let's say with underwater welding and all those kind of aspects, there's a tremendous market for that. And if a veteran wants to do that, you could share those skills. It's
sure.
you know what I mean? It's
Yep.
those are things that are being a mechanic and all those aspects. There's so much. It's unlimited. This is an unlimited program. It's gonna grow exponentially, and there's so many aspects. And go ahead, Jennifer. I wanted to bring up, you were saying something about how, the resume, it just helps us identify what experiences you have. We're all veterans. We're trying to get back in some shape or form. It's not like, you're not going to make the cut. There is countless command structures that we haven't even tapped into. There is a million different aspects that we haven't even thought of. And we've thought of a lot. We have thought of a lot. And we go through this every day, almost in and out, and trying to figure out how we can improve it together. So this is just an awesome, epic program we got rocking and rolling. And I just can't wait until we actually do this 100% through the server, and everything will be done through Hondo's social networking platform and apps. So it's just going to take off. And the whole aspect, like for me, I'll tell you, I've never felt like I've been part of a veteran community for the last 4 years when I was out. And then this came about. This is the first time in my life I've actually just sat down and chat with other veterans.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. So whatever we're doing, it's working. We don't know exactly how it's working, but it's working, and everyone's loving it. So anybody want to speak their minds? I think Captain Ian, what you got? What are we on, Q&As?
Yeah, I was about to say, if anybody has any questions, now's a good time for it. And if there's no questions, we'll just kind of open the mic, and anybody can share opinions. You can tell us all what you're looking for to solve within your veteran life, what things you'd like to look for from Hundo, and how we can improve as a group to meet your expectations.
I guess I could say I was going to ask about like the mental health aspect. Obviously, y'all are going to cover that because I mean, at least in Texas, that's where like I see a lot of Black in the veteran community is everyone claims there's all these resources for everybody, but why are we losing so many here in Texas? I'm sure it's not just Texas, but it's prevalent here. And I'm like, if there's so many resources for everybody, why are we losing them still? So what have y'all spoken about that yet? Or like, what does that look like to you guys as far as the mental health part of it? Like if somebody comes to you and they're just not in a good place.
If I may talk about that a little bit, that's another thing with me with my public relations. With me reaching out to a lot of the bigger organizations and stuff like that. And like you said, it's like, oh, we're supposed to have all these resources, to help all these veterans, and they're all out there. Where? It's like everybody's, why do I have to look for it? Why can't you make it easy for us to find? There's so many. And that's what's great about this organization. Guess what we're going to do? We're going to pull them all together and put them in one spot. And then guess what? When we have a veteran, it's like they're having a crisis or something like that, and they're in another state, maybe 9 times out of 10, they're going to come reach us. We're going to have a hot number. They're going to call us, and they're not going to get like, now I've had many people tell me already that when they call the suicide number and all that, they don't get like a really direct help or whatever, like you're thinking that you're going to get help. They get kind of the runaround. Okay. With us, which is, something that's a little bit later on, we're going to get this straightened out, but we'll get the resources in hand. So when the veteran does come in, they got a person on the other hand that's a veteran that cares, first of all, not someone that's just who knows where. And then we're going to have the resources available, always standing by, that we know they're going to be reactive right away to help out this soldier, and help out this veteran right away.
Yeah, because
That's what we
usually here
want.
it's boots on ground, like they'll just ask for who lives in the area.
Right.
That's literally what
basically
we kind of do here is like, who's in the area, go find him now. Like, and if
exactly
people
what
are
we'll
there,
do.
then that's what happens.
That's my goal, being public relations. I want to have those resources on the ground, have those contacts. So if I need someone in that area, I've got those people ready to go to help out that veteran if we have
Right.
one that's in crisis right away. I don't want someone to go, I don't have anybody in the area. I don't care if I have someone that is 50 miles away, as long as they're willing to go drive and go get them, go get them. If I'm within 50 miles away, guess what I'm doing? I'm driving my vehicle and I'm going to go get them. I'm not
Right. Or
sitting
just
at
have
the
somebody on the
house.
phone, just have them talking, just having somebody at least,
Even
as
that.
well as someone. Right. Yeah.
Even that. Even if that's all they need, that's fine. But we are gonna nail this down. That's one of the things that, it's needed. Like you said, it's needed. But we have been talking in leadership and we've been getting all this input, and that's what's so great about bringing all these other veterans in, and all these other insights and stuff like that. As we build this, it's just going to get better because there's more, outside views that we can't see it all, but everybody else brings all these other views in, and guess what? Now we're going to be more complete. We're going to cover more bases. We're going to understand more, and we're going to be more effective, and that's what we want to be. And then once we do that, then we can copy that, like the president said. It's like we're going to be able to copy this, and we're going to be able to use it for our active duty, and then we're going to be able to use it for other, as we grow and stuff like that.
Right.
It's just going to be phenomenal. So as I said, I'm excited to see you all here. It's great. It just means that we're growing, and I can't wait.
And if I could piggyback off of that real quick,
Nope.
part of some of the other stuff that we're doing is we'll be, as we grow, we're going to have more of like, I guess what you could call more of like a community groups. So then, we can meet up regularly, or if you have, for a lot of the guys who don't necessarily want to meet up personally, we have video gaming groups. They can sit there and video game for a couple hours, or things where, areas where we could call it, we could call it your bitch group, and everybody goes there and complains about whatever is going on in life. And yeah, I mean, obviously you understand the terminology. We bitch, it's just kind of part of life, or, whatever. But one thing that we're going to be doing as Hundo, which is implementing some ideas from different businesses, is we will be having large events as Hundo for recognition, in-person training, just kind of like, you'd get a whole bunch of veterans. Just imagine it like this. Okay. You have a whole bunch of veterans who come into, one of those hotels where they have thousands of people in there, and we have speakers come up, you have music, we have this massive convention, and it's just for veterans. It's just for the Hundo Club. And that alone, like one thing I'd like to do is if we could bring in the people who are at the most mental risk, we bring them in there, because those things uplift people mentally in ways that you can't even imagine. Unless you've been to one before, you don't know what I'm talking about. So, and I'm going to say that from my own experiences. You can imagine it. You may even see it like recordings of them on YouTube and stuff, but unless you're there, you still don't have that experience. And so that was one thing that I was talking with the president not too long ago about what we're going to be implementing as well. And so we'll have ways, to build up to those and make those a huge event that we're working on. And President Raymond, you were going to say something?
Yeah. So as to piggyback on Joe, what he was saying is, as we try to connect with other brother and sister organizations, we definitely want the in-person ability to say transportation command, volunteers to go out and go to that person's home and just visit them. We had a guest speaker named Destiny from Vet Talk. I believe it was 2 weeks ago, and she is she's working a very important topic. She came upon that, okay, how do we just want to talk to a regular veteran? I don't want to just somebody in that nature, somebody who understands, being in a situation of an IED or having a tank drop on top of my neck, these kind of situations. We can't have these conversations on regular people. It just doesn't work, so that's why it's also this confined community has to be this way. It has to be developed this certain way, minus from the family aspect, right? The family support, it has to be separate because of these things, and we want that. So we're looking for people, organizations that provide also professional therapy sessions that are willing to do that. If they want through Hundo, we're looking to have eventually, as our company organizations funds increase, we're going to create a dual chat system, right? So you got Messenger on Facebook, but on the side, you'll have, for example, you'll have Ryan's organization where you can say, I want to talk to a banker, or I want to talk to Troy, a financial advisor, I want to talk to Joe on a business. So you can instantly see it. So it doesn't exist, right? So a lot of these things don't exist. So that's what we've put together is solutions, and we have the company outline. We know exactly the direction and the blueprint we're going to go. And as we get to those points, we'll keep scaling. So it's definitely a big topic. And I thank you for pointing out the mental health aspect. Family support, special needs, for example. Joe, can I share some personal information? Joe has a special needs child. These are things that we want to get to those kind of assistance as well. You're single, basically almost a single mom in a way. 4 weeks at a time, your husband's out making sure there's bread and potatoes on the table and some meat, right? So okay, how can we make you an easier life as a mother? Those kind of things. These are all incorporated. We've had extensive surveys to ask these vital questions, and on top of that, we ask people just to take these surveys to help us identify which direction do we take first. What is the direction what is the most vital thing we have to get right now? And as Captain Ian picked up, there's a lot of fun groups too. We're looking to have that camaraderie and pass it on and say, hey, go at Veteran Foreign Wars. They have a bread and breakfast right now. It's on a Saturday morning. I think that just happened yesterday. I think, right?
Yesterday, yeah.
Right.
We had a speaker talking about the history of the Buffalo Soldiers, which was really interesting on top of that. So, but there's all different types of stuff that we could do. I'm sorry to interrupt, President. Go ahead.
No, this is Q&A. This is just throw it out there. What ideas do you got improving organization, right? What ideas can you think of as a collective mind? Also, what do you anybody got anything? Robert, I know you got tons of years of experience in the military realm. You got financial savviness. You got anything you could think of that would be like mind blowing to bring it to the community.
Well, like you guys are saying that there's a lot of things that just aren't addressed, you know, especially with the active duty side as well. And I think if we could spread out to the active duty side and just some of those things that NCOs used to do just aren't done in the Army or anywhere else anymore. And it just seems like there's just a lot of kids that come into the Army or wherever, and they just have no clue of how to live their life. And I think that's a big thing that we could do for them.
That's awesome. Just gonna touch on that real quick. So what we're planning in Hundo right now is we're actually planning 3 different districts. The first district would be functioning with veterans, the second one is active duty, and the third one is with non-veteran family members. So the family members of veterans and active duty, so they can correlate and work with each other. Because I mean, I don't know what it's like to be married to somebody in the military, but I can assume that that comes with its own flavors of hardships, just from stories that I've been told. So if you have they have a network as well. We're also providing for them. But those are our 3 districts that we're planning. And we're eventually going to spread out to all the countries in the UN, but we're focusing on the United States. And it could take us 50 years to build the United States Hundo to where we want it. But we want to get it done and get it done right.
Anybody got anything else to add? I think this is an awesome meeting. So it's a weekend update. Anybody else got anything to share? Good stories besides who won on the volleyball tournaments, Ryan?
You're muted at the moment, Ryan.
Thanks. She won 4 games and lost 2. So
Good job.
yeah, it's every other weekend in a different tournament. It's exhausting.
Nice.
All right, is gambling legal in your state? So that way I know which team to go.
I mean, it's legal anywhere you don't get caught. You know, I don't think there's too many folks regulating the 14-year-old volleyball games.
Those ones are definitely gambling, right?
My
Hey,
time.
Jennifer, how old's your children, Jennifer?
I have a 20-year-old son, an 11-year-old son, a 9-year-old son, and a 6-year-old daughter.
Okay, well, you get your hands full, but you got some help
Oh,
too.
I do.
You got some help, so that's good. Well, that's good. But one thing I realized is when you said you have 4, I go, okay, and her husband's gone for 4 to 5 weeks at a time. You're going to have to be very well organized.
I'm extremely
Capable of
organized.
taking care of many things,
Yes.
you know. So
That's what I do best, though. Like, that's my thing. Chaos, high stress, multitasking. I'm very, very, I know a lot of people are like, I'm a hot
thank
mess,
God you're a
but I'm good at
veteran.
it.
Thank God you're a
Correct.
veteran, right?
Correct.
'Cause we're
Yeah,
all
I was
used
gonna
to
say,
that, right?
this is a military skill. So that's why when you have other people look at you and they're like, how in the hell do you do it? Be like,
I get asked all the time, but I just tell them I don't know. I just do.
Right.
I just do
Yeah.
it. I don't know. I just
Yeah,
do
it's like,
it. All my friends are like, there is no way in hell. My husband could be gone 5 weeks at a time. And I'm like, well, I'm prior military. That's pretty
right.
much all I say.
Yeah, it just kicks in and just like, okay. Yeah, I mean my life as well, you know, I'm pretty well organized for majority of the stuff now, you know, but it's all from military, you know, training. It's like it's just the way it is, you know. But then, you know, and you mentioned about when you got out and you talked about the businesses and the way they're not really organized or team orientated and stuff like that. You know, I work for many companies, and the company I work right now, I'm a maintenance technician, and you know, I see the higher, you know, bosses and leadership, and me and another, you know, my coworker, we look at them like, how did they get their job? You know, it's like, you know,
Seriously.
we could do what they're doing so much better because we're knowledgeable. And what were they thinking? You know, it's like, and no team mentality. It's all micromanaged stuff like that. It's like
It's
no
a lack of
trust.
communication that I have found is my biggest thing is lack of communication when
Yeah.
I apply for jobs and they
Yep.
tell me something specific and then I never hear from them. And I'm like, You could have taken 2 seconds out of your day to
Right.
tell me you found somebody else, or to not have me sit there and wait on a job that's not even coming. I think it's coming, but it never came. And
Yeah.
then when I email them, I get some BS response as if I was not a tangible person that was like really going to be an asset for their company.
Right.
Or they give me a laundry list of things they want me to do in the job title, but they want to give me $16 an hour. My 20-year-old makes more out of high school. Like, it's comical
Right.
to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I gotta
Just
go
to
flip
know.
burgers.
It's
Yeah.
just
got
to
it.
know.
I got a quick question. So after this community meeting, how many of you are interested in working with us and us? This is to get a feel and idea. If you just raise your hand, that way we can add you to the legal leader chat. 1, 2.
Oh,
Anybody else?
me?
Joe, I got you.
I guess I'll stay.
Daryl, I'll reach out with you guys. Okay. And Ryan,
Okay.
you want us to reach out to you? You're good on that? All right. So we have Walter, if you guys want to sit in for another minute or two. He just dropped out. There he is. Oh, we have Walter. He's actually a very fine gentleman. He was an officer as well in logistics in the Army. And we're looking to partner with him and cooperate with him. He made a social networking app, and he wanted to give a quick video on it. So with his social networking app, I don't want to butcher it, so I'm gonna let him take over on that.
Hey, Walter.
Hey, everybody. Thank you very much for letting me have just a moment to show you what I've been working on. So Support Vets is effectively a community app that helps two groups, helps consumers find veteran-owned businesses and helps veterans find support organizations from which to receive support. So you can see at the bottom of the app there, the VOBs is where a consumer finds a veteran-owned business to bring their business to. The VSO is where I can find a support organization as a veteran, and the grayed out GOV is where I, as a veteran, can find government funded. I currently have a data group working to capture those data from the sources that I found, the publicly available sources, to be able to ingest that. But just as a quick overview of functionality, I'm looking here in the small town of Colville, where I live in the mountains of Utah. There's only 3 vet-owned businesses, right? This one is actually a special forces officer that he makes amazing custom furniture. So you're able to bring up their websites. You can contact them direct from the phone. You can hit them with an email. And anyone that's ever tried to get in touch with the business through the veteranownedbusiness.com website, that's not possible. You have to hit a form fill, right? So looking in, for example, let's go to Salt Lake City. Let's say I flew into Salt Lake for a business meeting or something. I got a couple hours to kill. So let's see what's available there as far as veteran-owned businesses are concerned. Number of different businesses, but I'm looking for specifically coffee. I want to taste some of the local brew. So go ahead and pull them up. Let's see what's coffees available. Everyone knows kind of the Black Rifle coffees, but here's Alpha Coffee, right? So I can again pull up a bunch of details on them. I have LinkedIn as the social media. With this next push of the app build here, hopefully by end of next week, it'll have all the social mediums there ready to go. But how this works is on the map view, I'm seeing those that are geographically proximate to me, right? But I might have a need that can be met by someone that's across the nation. So in the list view, it's pulling everyone that could provide me service in the area that I'm at, right? So let's say, for example, I want to be involved in a veteran gaming community or something like that. It's currently pulling up all the different options. That's why it's stating the loading screen. And we had it where every now and again, it would not allow you to search. So I'm looking for gaming groups, right? We've got Regiment, we've got the Veteran Gaming League. I'm actually have a call with Regiment tomorrow. They want to see the app. They like what they've heard about so far. And my hope is they can provide an introduction to USAA because they have a active sponsorship with them. So again, on the list view, I can see any group that can provide me a service. I can filter by a myriad of different specialty tags that I've devised. In essence, what I did is I went through every online repository for veteran organizations or veteran businesses, captured the way that they categorize everything, amalgamated them, and then refined it and perpetually refining it. Once we soft launch in May, then the community can start saying, "No, well, you freaking missed the mark on this one," right? So now use case, I'm a veteran, I need support from an organization, right? Let's say for an example, I'm starting a business, and that is freaking hard. Everyone that started a business knows it's ridiculously hard. So I want to find some sort of an entrepreneur accelerator. So I pull it up. Okay, this is the list view again. So nationwide, these are the 3 that are in there right now. Vet Business Resource Center. It's technically a publicly funded. It'll fall into the government when it's done. But what this is this falls in line with the VMA, which is the Utah Veteran Authority, to provide business resources. I'm in deep discussions with the VMA and VBRC, so both Utah public entities, to have support vets be not only the front of all of their resources and their business directory, but be able to potentially take on the actual certification process. It took 2.5 weeks for them to review and approve my support vet certification. So that's all the functionality that's built right now. A quick kind of overview into what's available coming May. Again, of course, like this is just an overall presentation deck. We all know the pains of transition. You guys know all too well. That's why you're creating your amazing group to be able to help in so many different ways, especially the 40 a day committing suicide. Now that there's a bunch of reports that are confirming it's way more than the 22 that's been officially reported. Lots of people that start a business, they know the pain points. The biggest concern to me is there's only 4.5% of post 9/11 vets that are starting their own businesses. It's a huge decline from the Korean War era. So I think that that's something that's one of the main dominant points that I'm trying to do is alleviate all these different frictions and obstacles and getting your business out to the general public, especially the cost, right? So there's tons of different groups that are trying to provide help, and it's hard to find them to know exactly what they provide in my area. There's a couple apps out there on the App Store technically that nothing functions. It's a great idea, but nothing's going to work. So in essence, what I'm doing is a holistic, comprehensive mobile solution, not only to help the veteran-owned businesses with their pain points, but veterans with the access to resources. There's only 17 states that actually track veteran-owned business status. Not all of them even certify, and a couple of them, like Virginia, Arkansas, you have to be government to access the repository. And so that's going to be another driving factor that I'm going to be focusing on once I integrate with Utah, is to pressure all the other 33 states that don't track the status to at least track the status, and then get every state to actually certify. So quickly swinging past like the sponsorship pages so you can see, and I don't know how much time I have, but you can see just the future facing functionality for that list view that surfaces the entire nation. There's going to be 2 methods. It'll be either alphabetical or star rating. The alphabetical is like it is right now, except for those groups that elect to pay sponsorship dollars dependent upon the cumulative sponsorship over their lifetime of being a member. They'll be placed at the top of the alphabetical, giving them a gratitude gesture for what they've done. But not everyone can afford to pay sponsorships, nor should everyone have to pay. The sponsorships is the intent to keep it free. There's no mandatory fee to use support vets. There's a highly encouraged voluntary service fee of $120 a year, which is nothing considering the ecosystem. And my hope is every veteran-owned business and VSO elects to pay that voluntary service fee to help continue to refine and build out the ecosystem. But in the star rating, that's the community ranking, which are quality. So every user type can rank the veteran-owned businesses, but then you have to be a certified veteran that has paid a voluntary service fee, showing that their skin in the game to be able to rate the VSOs as well as the government entities. So that way, we as a veteran community have a voice and have an impact to validate, especially those VSOs, those service providers. There's 109 different nonprofits that provide that same service, but there might only be a dozen that are making substantial impact, right? And they're all chasing the same grant dollars. Well, if we as a veteran community can come together and through a democratic process to find those that are providing excellence, it's much easier for them to receive the resources, because they could be the smallest group doing the biggest impact, but nobody's going to ever hear of them. In addition, though, you can see at the top that the integration of the certified logo, I'll talk to that in a little bit, but on the map view, those that are sponsors, their icon is going to be about 30% larger with the circle of the color of that sponsorship. Again, with the pop-up detail, it's got the star rating, the sponsorship level, any certifications. I'll talk, you can see that sponsor screen at the top of the ad. I'll talk a little bit more about that, but this isn't anything like, again, the online repositories with annoying pop-ups that block my user experience. They're just stupid, right? It's very carefully curated placement of some ad placement to allow a benefit for those that are substantially committing financial resources to maintain the ecosystem and to grow it. within the detail rating, again, you saw like the basic information that's there. It will show all the certifications. So with certifications, I'm actually working with Help Our Heroes, a nonprofit out of Missouri. Their founder's awesome, totally ethically and mission sense ethos aligned with what I'm trying to build. He and I are going to be creating a certification for nonprofits, for those 501c3s, so we can, as a group, validate that. I did have one nonprofit that I spoke with saying, well, I don't like the idea of just you guys as one group validating me. You know, you haven't really helped me. You haven't engaged with me. You haven't received service from me. How would you know, right? And as we were talking, we thought, wouldn't it be amazing, one, to restrict it just those veterans that have actually received service from them to be able to rate it? And two, the certifying body will just say, okay, take the top 300 of all VSOs of star ratings of the community validated quality, and they can then elect the top 10 of their directors, or they elect 10 directors to then be the certifying authority. Like, we can do all sorts of amazing democratic processes once the ecosystem is crafted. So that's an opportunity to provide additional voice. I'm going to be creating a simple support vet certification process. Initially, it will probably have to have a cost of about $200 is what I'm seeing, way lower than the $300 to $3,500 that NAVOB, or the other one, I don't remember the name, that pays to civilian certify the veteran-owned businesses. Hopefully that will go away as far as any fee once sponsorships come online. But that way, out of the 33 states that don't certify, a veteran-owned business can still get certified and validated, because there'll be filter sources specifically that you can just say only certified. And then that rate icon is what picks up the drop down for the rating. Super simple slide down that'll just have the slide from 0 to 5 stars in half-star increments. Everyone can rate a company once. It'll save those and then aggregate it for a total star value. That was another item that one of the nonprofits said was, well, what if I provide a really expensive, meaningful service? How do you rate impact? Like, if I'm providing a track wheelchair, so it's an all-terrain track wheelchair for veterans that need to have much more mobility than a standard wheelchair or electronic wheelchair. You know, that's an ridiculously higher expense than maybe a group that's providing meals or after school or what have you, right? So there's very unique opportunities for us to start defining as a community. Well, if they provide multiple lines of support, what's the cost? What's the lift? You know, we could take that all into account as it's starting to star rate. You could do a weighted average in whatever method we feel as a community is the most valuable and viable. And then, of course, the government screens will be similar to everything I've shown you, but for the public services. And there won't be a certification necessarily for government, because it's just all federally or state funded. But then there'll also be a method for submitting businesses live. So you can submit your own business. It takes me 8 to 10 minutes if I'm sourcing through those Facebook posts that I've been posting to then put it in. If somebody goes to the website and submits it, it's 4 to 5 minutes, dependent upon how clean those data are and complete those data are. They provide. There's been a couple people that said, well, they're just self-certifying that they're veteran owned, right? And I've had a number of red-blooded American warriors that are like, screw you, I served, I started my business, I went through bootstrap, I'm successful, nobody else has to certify me. And I totally respect that. So what I want to provide is an opportunity for every veteran-owned business to fly in. However, there's a slight possibility of stolen valor, right? So of course, through the star rating, through people notifying me, hey, I don't believe that this person is a veteran. But over time, especially once the embedded process of certification is in the ecosystem, then it'll just be, they can join for free, they self-elect. Probably after the first month, it prompts, in order to ensure that the veteran-owned businesses are in fact veteran-owned, we have to have you certify. It's free at that point, hopefully, and they go through that process. If not, it would just drop down to the civilian service so that they can see veteran-owned businesses, but they would not list it themselves. So broad brushstroke of what will be done early May. Future facing technology will be Veteran Ventures, which is intended to be an opportunity for a veteran that wants to start a business, hasn't yet started it, to access capital through the family or the community, whatever you want to call it. We'll be able to provide seed funding or expertise on a guidance committee. If there's a group that's doing really well and high star rated that we feel should be a regional offering, not just a state or local level offering, then we can provide opportunities to access to experts in different areas, as well as capital to achieve that. A community opportunity where all the certified veteran and VSO groups will then be able to place all of their events. So if you're flying in and you got a half day or a day layover and wherever you're at, say, hey, what are the veteran things going on? Quickly jump on an aggregated opportunity to see every event that's going on in the area. That's just a smattering. So definitely we're at the embryonic state of what's being developed, but the end state is going to be a holistic ecosystem of support, business and veteran support, and an opportunity as a community have a voice and a say and weight, where if my VA clinic is amazing, everyone can rate that. If 18,547 say my VA clinic is a 1-star, then that's an opportunity to have additional levels of visibility. That isn't just a, how did you rate our service? And who knows where that black box goes to. So I think that's the end of my long-winded diatribe. I can talk a little more about sponsorship levels and ad placement, et cetera, if the group wants to know that. But I guess with any good brief, it ends. And then you say, what are your questions, right? So.
Awesome. Anybody got any questions to Walter? I think it's a great collaboration between us because we're looking to assist veterans on getting their life back, right? And Walter's going to be able to uplift you by putting you relevant on the map. I think it's just an awesome aspect of working together. So as we cultivate, you know, your life and assisting in that well, you have this other aspect again. So he has multiple layers. He's got the free aspect and he's got the paid version and things like that. So anybody want to jump on anything with Walter or insight or see how it can improve your life and quality of life?
Can't wait to work with you, Walter.
Thank you. Me too.
All right.
I
Anybody
do
else?
have one question there, Walter. And I
Yeah.
know you kind of addressed it with me in messages, but for people who are doing a 1099 or a work from home opportunity, so how exactly does that fit in the app?
So in essence, 1099, it's also franchises like I guess, or if I'm a practitioner of insurance or real estate. In essence, what I do is I create, it's a 2-level organizational association in the map view. I have the brand. So if I am an agent at Coldwell Banker Commercial, right, the brand logo is Coldwell Banker Commercial, but then I have a separate one that's stated as, I could look one up right now and show you if you wanted to see it, but I'm a real estate agent. I have my own LLC technically, or 1099. So there's ways kind of like with the legal shields and everything that we would just have it where it shows that brand, overarching brand they fall under, but then it's another organization affiliated in the map. There's 2 associations in the database in that respect. It takes more time to build it out. It's something that I can't capture with the automated entry. Effectively, that person would be entering their own base level without associating with the other organization of their insurance company or what have you. But that's how that's captured.
Gotcha.
I think
But
that
if that's it,
is this weekend, right?
I was gonna say, if that's it, we're well over our time. So thank you for sticking with us for those who stayed around afterwards. But yeah.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Talk to everybody soon.
Take care.
I want to welcome the team.
Thanks for coming, all.